Is the Big 12 proving to be better than we thought? Oklahoma State certainly proved to be worthy of its date with Colorado, the Pac-12 runner-up in the Alamo Bowl. And this was not a contest. 38-8. It was 31-0 pretty quickly into the third quarter, and Oklahoma State completely dominated this game start to finish. Throughout the numbers, we're gonna display the numbers, but believe me, it was a demolition. So Oklahoma State's a team not known for defense. Colorado was the team with the much improved defense, from about 75th in the country to the top 30 in FBS football this year. They had the elite secondary. Oklahoma State did not. Oklahoma State relying on the arm of Mason Rudolph and all the elite wide receivers. But Oklahoma State played a very physical game and was just, this looked like a mismatch. It didn't look like the Pac-12 championship game runner-up taking on one of the top teams in the Big 12. This looked like a group of five underling, not even a good group of five teams taking on somebody from the Power Five. It was just a demolition. Sometimes teams match up certain ways in which one team is more physical and they stay in the game because of their physicality and their line play on both sides of the ball. And the other team, like we saw with Boston College being physical, but Maryland making up for that and staying in the game and only losing by 6 points because they had speed advantages on the outside and they broke for big plays both in the pass and run games. This wasn't like that. It was domination. Oklahoma State in every phase of the game, every unit was better. Mason Rudolph and James Washington announced earlier in the week that they would be back for their senior campaigns at Oklahoma State. Cowboy fans be very, very happy. Mason Rudolph was on target. When I looked at the stats after the game and saw 22 of 32, I was trying to figure out where he missed on 10 passes because he was razor sharp. Mason Rudolph in this game, he was making NFL-like throws to the sidelines. It looked very impressive. 314 yards. He was also hitting the plays down the field. Oh, I remember one miss to James Washington. So Washington, he was amazing in this game. Unfortunately, he had to leave in the second half, but the game was not in doubt at that point. Hopefully, he's okay. He hurt his finger, but Washington had one doink off his face mask that would have been another huge touchdown for him. But we can forgive him because James Washington caught 9 passes for 171 yards, and he completely outclassed Isaiah Oliver. And this highly touted Colorado secondary that just wasn't able to keep up with not just Washington, but McClaskey and company. Chris Carson only gained 61 yards on 11 carries, but they were brutal runs in which he completely dominated the second level of the Colorado defense. Linebackers shedding them, defensive backs throwing them off. Justice Hill, the 170-pound back, was very impressive as well, 100 yards, even on 19 carries. 527 yards of total offense for Oklahoma State against a team that played with the big boys, including a game at Michigan that was 24-21 in the second half. They played well, of course, in the Pac-12, going 7-2, winning all the early games to get into top 25 contention. And then they kind of stumbled down the stretch after defeating Washington State the last 2 games for Colorado. Big loss to Washington, 41-10. In that game, like this game, not even as close as the score would indicate. Then they get rolled up by the Cowboys, 38-8. So that's 79-18 the last 2 games by Colorado. Great improvement, 10-4 season. Who would have seen that coming after a 2-25 finish the last 3 seasons under Mike McIntyre, the national coach of the year in the Pac-12? But they do have some ways to go to match up with even in Oklahoma State. We're not talking about Ohio State or Alabama or Clemson. We're talking about Oklahoma State. So Colorado has proven one game can get out of hand, but this is now 2 consecutive games against really good teams that they have been completely outclassed. Physically not good enough on the perimeter to match up and make plays. Their offense was smothered in this game. All right, Jim Leavitt was missed, the defensive coordinator from Colorado, going to Oregon, so he's no longer with the team, was not able to game plan, and the plays were called by the secondary coach, who has not called plays on that side of the football for 10 years, we understand. So Leavitt was missed. How much, we'll never know. I don't think enough to make up 30 points. The Big 12 is now 3-1. Now, you have to look beyond the record. I go crazy a little bit when I hear people spouting off bowl records for conferences. You've got to look at the competition. What's more impressive for the Big 12 in going 3-1 is they have the 3 most credible wins for a conference thus far. They had the loss. It was a bit embarrassing. West Virginia outclassed by Miami. But the 3 wins against 3 very good teams, Colorado, Texas A&M, and the other win was against Boise State. Baylor annihilated them. That was not a game. Texas A&M losing to Kansas State. So 3 credible wins for the Big 12 going 3-1. Now they've got TCU and Oklahoma to go. All right, that's about all we've got to say. Colorado comes back in 2017 and really no significant non-conference games. They've got the traditional date with Colorado State. They play Texas State in Northern Colorado. Play somebody. All right, Oklahoma State's got Tulsa, an up-and-coming team under Philip Montgomery and at South Alabama. And then they've got the return trip to Pitt. They won that game over the Panthers by a touchdown this year. Oklahoma State fans, you got to feel good. Your playmakers are back. Mason Rudolph at quarterback and James Washington and the entire wide receiver core of consequence for the Cowboys, who finish off at 10-3. Need to hear from you on Mark Rogers TV.